On behalf of GSFC, myself Mitesh Mehta and my colleague Malar Patel, welcome you all. Honorable dignitaries, distinguished panelists, respected delegates from industry, academia and government, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a privilege and honor to welcome you all to this important seminar panel discussion on the theme Green Hydrogen and Green Ammonia, transforming the future of fertilizer industry through ammonia injection, organized by Gujarat State Fertilizers and Chemicals Limited under the guidance of Energy and Petrochemical Department, Government of Gujarat. This theme is both timely and significant. As the world accelerates its transition towards clean and sustainable energy, green hydrogen and green ammonia have emerged as the key of industrial decarbonization. For the fertilizer industry, ammonia injection presents a practical pathway to reduce carbon emission while maintaining operational efficiency. Aligned with the Atmanirbhar Bharat vision of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji and India's commitment towards energy security and sustainable development, green ammonia offers a promising pathway to reduce dependence on fossil fuels, lower carbon emissions, and strengthen the long-term resilience of fertilizer industry. Today's discussion will explore opportunities, challenges, strategic initiatives that can accelerate this transition toward a cleaner and more sustainable future. This seminar is not just a discussion. It is a dialogue on India's future, a future that is cleaner, greener, more resilient, and self-reliant. Over to you, Malar.
Thank you, Mr. Mitesh. Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have with us an eminent panel comprising distinguished leaders from policy, industry, science, technology, and agriculture who are shaping the future of green hydrogen, green ammonia, and sustainable development. Our distinguished keynote speaker for today is Ms. Nivrutti Rai, Managing Director and CEO Invest India, a highly respected technology leader and strategic visionary. Ms. Rai has played a significant role in promoting investments, innovation, and entrepreneurship across India. With her extensive leadership experience in global technology and semiconductor industries, she has been instrumental in strengthening India's position in emerging sectors such as clean energy, advanced manufacturing, and sustainable technologies. Her insights on investment ecosystems, policy frameworks, and global competitiveness will greatly enrich today's discussion. May I request Shri K.S. Badlani sir, Senior Vice President Projects GSFC, to kindly felicitate and welcome Ms. Nivrutti Rai. Thank you, ma'am. Our first distinguished panelist is Shri Anup Bhargava, Senior Vice President, Invest India. He is leading the industrial sector advisory and facilitation. Mr. Bhargava is an experienced industry sector professional and has comprehensive operational and strategic expertise, deep sectoral relationships in energy sectors, including decarbonization sector, industry reputation and network, and proven experience in scaling and rejuvenating complex businesses and market-facing equipment. His insights on investment opportunities, market development, and the enabling policy framework will add immense value to today's discussion. May I request Shri A.B. Gupta sir, Senior Vice President, EMC, UNEC, PLM, and MRBU, to kindly felicitate Sri Anup Bhargava sir. Thank you, sir. Our next distinguished panelist is Mr. Rishabh Soni, General Manager, Acme Group. Mr. Soni has been actively involved in advancing Acme's green energy initiatives and contributes significantly to the development and execution of large-scale green hydrogen and green ammonia projects. His experience in project development, market dynamics, and sustainable energy solutions will greatly enrich today's discussion on pathway towards self-reliance and import substitution through green ammonia. May I now request Mr. Satish Patel, sir, Senior Vice President, Operation SU, IR and Factory Manager, GSFC, to kindly felicitate and welcome Mr. Rishabh Soni. Thank you, sir. Our next distinguished panelist is Dr. Manoj Srivastava, Principal Scientist, Environment Science, ICAR. With a distinguished career dedicated to agriculture, research, and sustainable farming practices, Mr. Srivastava has made significant contributions in the areas of soil science, crop nutrition, and fertilizer efficiency. His expertise will help us understand the transformative potential of green ammonia and direct ammonia injection in enhancing agricultural productivity while supporting environmental sustainability. May I request Shri N.V. Dalal sir, Senior Vice President, and Marketing AB, to kindly felicitate and welcome Shri Abhishek Kumar, Dr. Manoj Srivastava. Our next distinguished panelist is Mr. Abhishek Kumar Ambasta, DGM Green Hydrogen Solar Energy Corporation of India, SECI. Mr. Ambasta has been actively involved in advancing India's green hydrogen initiatives and supporting the nation's clean energy transition through policy implementation and project development. His experience in large-scale deployment and renewable energy integration and sustainable fuel strategies will provide valuable perspectives on the practical pathways for green hydrogen adoption. May I now request Shri D.V. Pathakji sir, Senior Vice President GSFC, to kindly felicitate and welcome Mr. Abhishek Kumar Ambasta. Thank you, sir. Our next panelist is Dr. Amit Kulshrestha, General Manager, NTPC Energy Technology Research Alliance, Netra. He is a distinguished power sector expert with over 34 years of experience, having led pioneering research and innovation initiatives at NTPC, including waste to energy, waste to hydrogen, and biomass co-firing technologies. He has played a pivotal role in introducing supercritical power technologies and advancing India's clean energy transition. A former CEO of NTPC EDMC Waste Solutions, he has also contributed to technology policy, holds a patent in solar thermal integration, and is a passionate advocate for sustainability and innovation. His insights into technology innovation, research advancement, and future trends will add immense value to our discussion. May I request Shri Manish sir from Senior Vice President GSFC to kindly felicitate and welcome Dr. Amit Kulshrestha. Thank you, sir. Once again, let us extend a warm welcome to all our distinguished panelists. We are honored by your presence and look forward for an engaging and insightful discussion on this seminar. A big round of applause for our esteemed panel. Ladies and gentlemen, as India accelerates its journey towards a sustainable and energy secure future, green hydrogen and green ammonia are emerging as key drivers for this transformation, especially for fertilizer sector. To share the national vision and policy perspective on this important subject, we are privileged to have with us Ms. Nivrutti Rai, MD and CEO Invest India, a distinguished leader in technology innovation and investment promotion. Ma'am has played a pivotal role in advancing India's clean energy and industrial growth initiatives. May I now request ma'am to kindly deliver the keynote address on today's seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Nivruti Rai with a warm round of applause. Hereby we welcome our MD sir, Shri Rajendra Kumar sir, IAS. Thank you sir, thank you very much.
Very good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me in the back? So before I start my keynote, my presentation is already there. I have to share two stories with you. One story is, I was very recently, like yesterday, was in Amsterdam and Budapest. And I must tell you, the temperature over there was 40 degrees Celsius. Unlike Gujarat, you have air conditioners here, air conditioners in the car, air conditioners in the dining hall. I don't think Amsterdam was that ready. So hot. That told me all of the HVACs that are sold in India, built in Japan or Korea, Europe better get ready to buy those HVACs. Europe better get ready to contribute to the greenhouse gas emissions, which is causing all this global warming. So that was my story number one before I start. Let me share a story number two. I was very excited in the main plenary hall when the Deputy CM, I believe it was the Deputy CM, who made a statement, and I'll say it in Hindi to get the passion in me. He said, Gujarat jo bolta hai, wo karta hai. I have to tell you a story. Being in a US corporate, I was sent to many leadership classes. One of the leadership classes was how to leave an impact. And the story we were told was in UK, London, right after India got its independence. 15 August ho gaya, 1947 ho gaya. By the way, everybody understands Hindi if I break into Hindi sometimes? Okay. So it was London, and there was a media person who was looking for a very small, slim, diminutive Mahatma Gandhi. And after his speech, he somewhere in the crowd vanished, and the media house could not get hold of him. Guess who he got hold of? The very charismatic, the man with a flower in his lapel, Jawaharlal Nehru. So the media guy asked Jawaharlal Nehru, what is it about this man? India got its independence from the British, and the British are dying to hear this man speak. What is it about him that leaves such an impact that the British are dying to hear him? This is what Jawaharlal Nehru said, and by the way, that was the lesson for us as leaders. The lesson was, Gandhi speaks what he feels. Gandhi speaks what he feels and does what he speaks. So from Mahatma Gandhi to now, thank you, Gujarat, for continuing to do that. And I'm really excited. The mic is not working, right? Because I'm feeling like I'm screaming. Can you help me with the mic? Can you increase the volume? I'm literally screaming for him to hear. By the time they adjust my mic, my story is about green hydrogen and green ammonia and energy. I really would have liked to say green ammonia and then green hydrogen. Thank you. Oh yes, much better. Can you hear me better? At least I'm not screaming now. So, why green ammonia ahead of green hydrogen? The reason is liquefied ammonia carries 70% more hydrogen than liquid hydrogen. Second, looking at HB, for 100 years India has been working. I was very excited to hear Deepak Fertilizer. India has been working on HB, building ammonia for 100 plus years. The maturity in building ammonia is very strong in India. And third, the liquefaction, the transportation of ammonia becomes so much easier than looking at hydrogen, liquefaction of it, and going down to such low temperatures. So my thought is ammonia ahead of hydrogen. What I wanted to share, I may have to come there because I don't want to see in the back. If you look at the amount that the world utilizes hydrogen is 95 million tons. 99 plus percentage is gray, coming from all the fossil fuel kind of sources. I also want to say, look at the demand by sector. You have chemicals, of course, automotive, and some of them will come later, but look at the use case. Oops. If you don't mind, can I come there because I can't see in the back? So chemicals, refining, oil refinery, etc., is the use case. Oh, thank you. Shall I sit and speak? Now let us look at the demand going forward. The world's demand is going to increase by 5x. Roughly 100 million ton becoming 500 million ton. India's use case, on the other hand, 5 million ton growing 6x to 30 million tons. Now I also want to highlight to you, where the decarbonization will help the most, hard to abate sectors. Since all of you, most all of you, seem to me either you are living in India or Indians, the amount of steel utilization, cement utilization in a country like ours is tremendous. So looking at decarbonization is going to be absolutely essential. May I tell you one more stats? Now, coming from an engineering background, if I don't say numbers, English seems like hand waving to me. The number that I want to highlight is the world today has seen 3.5, a little more, trillion metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions. 3.5 trillion metric tons. Just so that you can understand, 500 billion metric tons is what was US's contribution. Can I tell you, based on the Paris Agreement of 1.5 degrees Celsius, the world only has 4 years worth of greenhouse gas emission left. 170 billion metric tons, 40 billion metric tons per year. So if you're not talking decarbonization, we're solving the wrong problems. And I just told you, Budapest, Amsterdam, 40 degrees Celsius, hot, hot, hot like anything, and no preparedness for how the cooling solutions would work. Heat was perfect. In my hotel, I can't go beyond some 22, 23 because nobody does that. So looking at the sectors, if you look at the right side, mobility, storage, power, residential, commercial, we have significant amount of work left. If you look at the TRL numbers, there's very less maturity. So that was what the world is looking like. Let me come back to where India is. 5 million metric tons green hydrogen requirement. Green ammonia, 3 to 4 times. By the way, the fertilizer requirement, significantly large, 66 million metric tons. So all the fertilizer companies, all the solar companies are becoming critical for green ammonia and green hydrogen. Why? Because when I look at green hydrogen, most of the money spent is in power. And if to make it green, you have to have solar or wind or hydro. So it is absolutely essential to have green hydrogen, green ammonia, look at the solar guys, look at the fertilizer guys, because supply has to meet the demand. India's North Star is by 2030, we have to see carbon dioxide abatement of 150 million tons per year. Can I tell you, that is the amount of the entire shipping industry. Now, what is the strength of India? I told you 60 to 70% of the cost of making green hydrogen comes from energy, absolutely power. What is the moat of India? One of the lowest solar cost, 2.5 rupees per kilowatt hour. So, 2.5 rupees or 2.5 cents is what India is selling its solar power for. The second thing what India is strong about is already I told you, its demand. 66, that I won't be able to see. I'll be able to see. So 66 million metric ton. We have port capacity. I have about 9.2 residual capacity. The other very interesting thing is we have coastline on both the sides. We have Gujarat, we have Maharashtra, and we have Orissa and Chennai. So we have significant opportunity in terms of transportation capacity through our ports. I also want to tell you that, thank you. I'm so sorry, guys. I also want to tell you that there are countries which are competing with us in solar power. Those are the ones that have a lot of sun, like us, and have capital which is very cheap, like Saudi Arabia. So India has a lot of strengths, and we must capitalize because the world has decided green hydrogen and ammonia, it is to be. The question that needs to be asked, who's building, who's financing, and who's buying? Only these three questions have to be answered. What I'm going to show you is what are some of the challenges and strategies in the supply side and challenges and strategies in the demand side. By the way, some of these graphs are very detailed. What this is the green hydrogen value chain. What are some of the requirements, building blocks for your green hydrogen? Just look at the whole pie chart. Everything which is red is coming from China. China controls greater than 50% of it. Everything that's blue is greater than 50% of it. United States controls, and yellow is India. So if you look at China, you'll definitely see solar cells. You'll definitely see critical materials. If you look at United States, you'll have membranes. You'll have PEM. You'll have more of those kind of middle layers. You look at India, you'll see steel, significant amount of steel. So what this tells you is, who are the countries, I'm so sorry, you have to be dependent on to drive green hydrogen development. My next slide, I hope I can show you. Okay, my next slide, I think is the previous one. I think it has gone many slides ahead. So my next slide, so green hydrogen value chain, you just saw. The pie chart basically tells you the dependence on which country. And US, China, Japan, South Korea stand out for certain building blocks, including Europe also. My next slide shows you. Now this is a very, very important, oops, I'm so sorry. What this is if you look at the very first column, those are the building blocks, raw materials, technology that go into building green hydrogen or green ammonia. And if you look at the very first row, from R&D to commissioning to deploying, all of that is on my first row. So if you look at the very first two rows, the first one says renewable power and energy and water supply. Kind of green, which means India is ready or really ready. If you look at, I'm so sorry. Oh. I really tell you, somebody has to drive the innovation of display ports. Because these display ports in these screens in such conferences happen a lot of times. So the next few lines are basically the middle layers. The electrolyzers, including alkaline, the proton membrane electrolyzers, the solid compound electrolyzers, so different kinds of electrolyzers you'll see. India is ready in some areas, and India is not ready where technology is concerned. So there is a big gap. And then you have the software, the components, the power. We are kind of okay, kind of not. So what does this tell us? This tells us that areas which we are red, so you'll see a circle of red in the R&D and the components of electrolyzers. Here, this is a 5+ years engagement. I really believe we have to partner, we have to JV, we have to drive technology license to get these kind of things. I don't want to be able to risk 5 years hence from now. I want to be working on the next gen technology. However, the areas where we are yellow, for example, in balance of plant, building some kind of separators, building some kind of transformers, etc., we have some capability that needs to be done domestically. So what does Invest India do? Every area which is red, orange, yellow, we have mapped to the side, if you see, companies that we have to go after. Now, we have chosen companies and countries together. Try to see which are the countries where we have diplomatic relationship with, where we have trade agreements, where we have a give and take. So we have highlighted those countries, and from those countries, the companies, and we are chasing them to drive investment into India in a mode where we are looking for enabling JVs for them. Like I told you, I am really excited about the possibility with ammonia ahead of hydrogen. I also want to show you everywhere where we are red, that is where we lack IP, but more importantly, we lack margins. So if you're looking at investment, currently, I am looking at investment and return and not much difference. And that not much difference is the viability gap, where the government is standing up. So I really feel with viability gap, with our focus on JV, with the support that you are getting, I really think green ammonia is what you should start looking at chasing, and then work on green hydrogen simultaneously. The next slide, I talk about, so what happens? 100 kilowatt hour of green energy, a lot of times solar, 20 liter of water, driving the electrolysis generates about 66 kilowatt hour of hydrogen, green hydrogen. What happens? We lose 34 kilowatt hour to heat. I like to say that's not just losing to heat, that's the price of decarbonizing. That's the price that we have to pay, and not just us. Western world also has to pay. Now, beyond that, you look at storage, you look at transportation, the 100 kilowatt hour reduces to 4450 kilowatt hour by the time it's shipped and it's going into the transportation as liquid ammonia. What does this tell me? One is, I should feel bad about it, that, 100 kilowatt, after all, that's energy, this is energy. Sorry, that's energy, it's variable. This is energy that's constant. That's energy, that I have to leverage to decarbonize. However, every step of the way, I feel, is an opportunity for innovation. Are there students in this group? Are there startups in this group? Perfect. So those are the areas I'm looking for, improving the efficiency. Why this loss? Is there any circular approach to the heat that is lost? Those are the kind of opportunities we have that we have to address as a country. Every technology goes through an S curve, and every technology starts as being a luxury. ending up with utility. And we have to bring green hydrogen, green ammonia from luxury to utility. I have just a couple more slides left. I'm so sorry. Oh, I can see there. Okay, at least I can speak. Thank you. Thank you. The next slide I really wanted you to see, but we've done a state comparison of how different states are performing in terms of gray hydrogen cost today versus green hydrogen cost by 2030. And what we have seen based on our analysis is looking at alkaline electrolyzers, looking at solar and seawater are ways to reduce the cost of greenifying the hydrogen. I also want to show you the ports, the location, the access of how solar power is going to be leveraged for driving green hydrogen. The next slide, thankfully, the minute I step out, it starts working, and I hope it continues. The next thing is, you all saw that 5 million metric tons of green hydrogen or gray hydrogen was India's need. But the value, the scale comes when you're looking at exports. So look at the countries that are seeking exports. Canada, imports. Europe, Japan, South Korea. Countries that will be competing with us would be MENA region. I told you they have very low cost of capital. Australia, South America, and Africa. We have to look at how do we make our products cost effective? How do we partner? I was talking to the MD and I realized that the companies, the states with their strengths have to work together to drive this as a country agenda. If we don't drive this as a country agenda, and Gujarat says, I'm going to do everything, Maharashtra says, I'm going to do everything, Chennai says, I'm going to do everything, guess who loses? It'll be India. I want to look at innovation across the states. I want to look at components. I want to look at sub-building blocks. That's why we put in so much effort to show you the heat map that we did. What are the components from small to large? And what is the development cycle? And where is India? And we have started looking at what companies. So I am seeking small, medium, and large companies. And I want to work with them to enable them with JVs with global companies. Because I will be very honest with you, China is amazing in reverse engineering. Unfortunately, we are not. So let's do JV, let's learn technology, and let's build solutions for the country. First, in partnership with a global company, then eventually build your own strength. The other thing I want to tell you, and I have heard this my ear full, that what good are MOUs for? I just want you to highlight, look at India towards the right side in the first graph. Look at the number of dotted lines it has. It has dotted lines with every other country, but a solid line with none. Solid lines are contracts, actually signed B2B under the umbrella of G or G2G under the umbrella of B2B. We have hardly any contracts. What amazed me was, please see, Germany has a contract with Egypt. Am I to believe that we don't have as much capability or raw materials or wherewithal as Egypt? Oh, most certainly no. Then we have built the multilateral framework of the various countries, Japan with ASEAN and Australia and so on. Just look at what Australia is doing. Partnering everywhere. To export, to build, to transport. I think we have to roll up our sleeves and think beyond the 5 million metric tons. If you think 5 million metric tons, you stay within the 4 trillion economy. I want to dream for the 100 trillion. And I know you guys can.
And I want to partner with you. I want to support you to help you get technology licenses, to help you get JVs, to help you get sticky capital. There are people who are looking at investing in India, but they want to see what is the technology. They are not excited about execution. Oh, I'm going to continue to do this, or I'm going to drive services. Of course, services are quick money and important to some extent. But some of these technologies, we have to contribute. I already talked about, the S-curve of technology. Starts with a lot of excitement, reaches its peak, the bubble bursts, the bubble comes down, then begins the realistic enlightenment. If you look at green hydrogen, the red dot that you see is where the world is. We have to bring the sparks of enlightenment to all of you. Because I truly believe this is one area where India has cheap solar, India has significant demand, India has ports on both sides, India has an edge on R&D. Of course, we have to drive patents. And why do I believe we will? In 2017, the world had 400 patents on green hydrogen. 400. Can I tell you now? And it was now, meaning the WIPO data that I have is from 2024. More than 4,000. 10x. So the world is aware. That's what I said. The world has made the solution, made the resolve. Green ammonia is not just fuel. It's not just storage. It's industry. It's food security. And it's transportation. Opportunity for us is now. We have our front foot already ahead with our ammonia capability. So my ask, not very many startup guys, but please look at the areas where we have gaps, the efficiencies where we need improvement. I have seen solar guys work from polycrystal to monocrystal to then looking at TOPCon, eventually HJT in the beginning, in the middle, new technology. I have seen their evolution grow from 10-15% to 30%. Colonel Mishra, can you tell me what is the kind of solar efficiency enhancement? No, from polycrystal was 10-15% to now almost 30. Yes. So if solar has driven it, has caused us to come at a point by 2.5 rupees per kilowatt hour. So those are the kind of innovations I want the startup and academia to drive. What is the next gen electrolyzer chemistries? We've talked about proton, we've talked about anion, we've talked about solid. What more? What can we do in solid? Materials, looking at human capitals, we saw the calculation, we said, okay, 5 million metric tons for green hydrogen will require 150,000 engineers. That's the jobs. Government, I'm really pleased with the National Greenhouse Mission, 2.4 billion called out. The one thing that I will push and work with the government is standards. How can we create standards which are global such that our exports are not hindered? We have to look at our grid and our grid stability so we can get access to, providing the extra power. Industry, SMEs, institutional investors, like I said, we are looking at institutional investors to invest. And we are coming up with an approach. So everybody has heard about REITs and InvITs. We're going to have sectoral, kind of investment opportunity, a bouquet. And we'll have a bouquet of investors which we will share with you. I am also looking at multilateralization. There is something that we can do with Australia. There is something we want to do with Congo. Can Australia, Congo, and India drive something together? So those kind of things I want to bring to your attention. Lastly, we are doing amazing with ammonia. The lack that I am seeing now is creating the demand. Working for the global demand and building our products that we can drive for export. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your insightful and inspiring keynote address. Your thought-provoking perspectives on India's vision for green hydrogen and green ammonia have provided an excellent foundation for today's deliberations. We sincerely appreciate your valuable insights and inspiring words. Thank you, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, we now move to the most engaging segment of today's program, the panel discussion. Every meaningful discussion needs a capable moderator who can bring together diverse perspectives and steer the conversation towards practical insights. It is my privilege to introduce our esteemed moderator, Ms. Nidhi Pillai, Company Secretary and Vice President Legal and HRS GSFC, a seasoned corporate professional with extensive experience in corporate governance, legal affairs, compliance, and strategic management. Ms. Pillai has been instrumental in strengthening organizational excellence and driving key initiatives at GSFC. With her deep understanding of fertilizer industry and strong leadership, she is exceptionally well placed to guide today's discussion and bring forth valuable insights from our distinguished panelists. May I now request Ms. Nidhi Pillai to kindly take over the proceedings and moderate today's panel discussion on the seminar subject. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our moderator with a warm round of applause. Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, all of you, distinguished dignitaries, respected panelists. May I sit and speak there? Distinguished dignitaries, respected panelists, industry leaders, researchers, esteemed participants, and our respected panelists, a very good afternoon to you and a warm welcome to all of you. It's my privilege to welcome you to this very important session on green hydrogen and green ammonia, transforming the future of fertilizer industry through ammonia injection. India stands at a defining moment in this energy transition. And as we heard Ms. Nivruti Rai, she gave us such brilliant insights into this industry, the dependency that India is facing on imports and how we can reverse that. Thank you, ma'am, for such an insightful session. Ma'am has already set in the context. I'll just further to that. India's fertilizer sector is the backbone of our nation's food security. And at the heart of this sector lies ammonia, a vital input that sustains agricultural productivity across the country. However, as ma'am also emphasized, the current model of ammonia production is deeply dependent on imported natural gas, making it vulnerable to global price volatility. Despite producing nearly 17 to 18 million tons annually, India continues to import additional ammonia to meet its growing demand. This creates a dual challenge: environment sustainability and energy dependence. India has set ambitious goals, achieving net zero by 2070, energy dependence by 2047. We know the SDG goals, and we are all working towards that. Green hydrogen, green ammonia, ammonia injection emerges as a game changer here. The transition to green ammonia is not just an environmental necessity, it is an economic and strategic imperative. It has the potential to reduce import dependence, improve nitrogen use of efficiency, and strengthen India's position as a global leader in sustainable agriculture and green energy. Recognizing this potential, the Government of India launched a national green hydrogen mission in January 23 with a significant outlay of 19,744 crore. At the core of this mission is Strategic Interventions for Green Hydrogen Transition, that is a SITE program, designed to support electrolyzer manufacturing, incentivize production, and accelerate innovation across the value chain. Platforms like Vibrant Gujarat Summit aims to strengthen this innovation by bringing together investors, policymakers, innovators under one roof. With that, let us begin our insightful session here, and I would like to invite our distinguished speakers and panelists to please share their perspective as we collectively explore the future of the fertilizer industry. So, ladies and gentlemen, to begin with, I would request Shri Anu Bhargav, Senior Vice President, Invest India, to please share his thoughts on this.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just checking the mic. I think, can I have the volume? Is it okay? You can hear? Thank you. So the green ammonia is one of the decarbonization initiative. If you see, we have green ammonia, green methanol, green ethanol, and we can refine it further for sustainable aviation fuel. So because hydrogen, there is two applications. One is in the industry application of green ammonia, and second is the fertilizer application. There are two independent applications. Combined together becomes a demand. Demand means when you have the major cost of any of these e-fuels, whether it's ammonia or methanol or ethanol, is basically the cost of electrolyzer, and the second is the cost of renewable energy. So depending on that, we have to choose the technology. In order to have electrolyzer at a very big scale, which is a gigafactories, in order to have the cost down to a particular instant. So we have two types of demand. One is demand created from the country, like we have oil marketing companies creating the green hydrogen demand for the captive use. That means smaller, 5 KTPA, 10 KTPA plants. And then you have the SECI, which is created the demand for ammonia, also the captive units. So these are the two demand. That doesn't drive economy of scale in the country, correct? You can have ammonia by direct air capture, which is expensive, unless the technology is on a mass scale. Similarly is electrolyzer. We hardly have any factory because we don't have long-term offtake agreements. So the only way is we have two programs. One is Europe, H2F program, H2PPP program, and then we have the CFD program of Japan, which is now combined with another initiative called Joint Credit Mechanism. So these two mechanisms drive the export of ammonia or export of methanol, which is green in nature. So this is how the whole industry is. So we have external demand and we have internal demand. Unless these two are met, we will never be able to go to a price level because this has to be in mass scale. Now we come to ammonia. Ammonia, we have the larger technology based on Haber-Bosch process where we have to put $500 million to $1 billion to build a plant. But then the new evolving technology is called electrolyte catalyst technology, wherein you have skid-mounted 500 KLPD plants also, 5,000 KLPD plants also. And in Gujarat, I can't declare because in Gujarat, the company which is trying this pilot project through the CFD or JCM mechanism is in Gujarat. So Gujarat is one of the states which I have seen over the years, the first solar plant with a PPA 17.5 rupees was between CSC and GVNL. I was a part of it. So that was also in Gujarat. The solar started in Gujarat. Now electrolyte catalyst technology for ammonia will be started in Gujarat. We have 3 e-fuels plant in Gujarat. So Gujarat becomes the country's test bed where there are a lot of entrepreneurs, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of incentive in the state. So this, what I feel about ammonia for fertilizer will be as good as ammonia for industrial use so that you can scale it up to bring down the cost. That's my view. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I completely agree with you, the need for long-term offtake agreements and such through a light on the various technology in this field. I would next request Mr. Rishabh Soni, General Manager, Acme Group, to place to please share your thoughts on this.
Hello everyone, so good afternoon. So coming from the industry, I can share my practical experience because we are the only company in the world who are actually constructing a green ammonia plant in Oman. And in the next 8 to 9 months, it's going to be commissioned. So we can divide the green ammonia production into three parts. First is the renewable power, second is the process plant, and third is the logistic. So renewable plant, as ma'am mentioned, so most of the cost driver for the whole decarbonization is the renewable. So right now on the renewable side, we have enough like back-end capacities of module is enough there in India right now. But the challenges is the evacuation of power. So most of the demand center of the load center and the production center of the renewable are segregated. So Gujarat and Rajasthan, except for Gujarat and Rajasthan, all other regions are segregated. But green ammonia capacity or green ammonia project viability in Rajasthan is not that good. So only Gujarat is there right now. If we talk about the renewable and the all the resource availability for green ammonia. So the evacuation part, if we talk about, right now, we are all are aware that transmission capacity is not at pace with the production capacity. So that is one bottleneck that we need to address. Second is the, if we come to the process plant now, so like everybody has mentioned, the electrolyzer capacity is not there in India. But there is no mandate, so it's not a critical part right now. As we grow, like what happened to the solar industry, initially we were not having any module capacity. But then also we scaled to some level. After that, there was a flood of the module capacity. Right now we are sitting at 150 gigawatt of module capacity against the installation of just 20 gigawatt. So that's what will happen in electrolyzer only, electrolyzer also, but it will require push at the right time. If we talk about the ammonia production part, it's like Haber-Bosch process is 100-year-old. So there is no changes in the process. Everything remains same because at the molecule level, either it is green or gray, both the ammonia molecules are same. Now the biggest challenge that India has right now is the logistic part. That is the distribution of this ammonia. Like I mentioned, most of the demand center and the production center, because if we produce ammonia near to the renewable power, we have to transport it to the demand center. But if we produce it near to the demand center, then we have to evacuate the power. So right now, the what India is lacking is a dedicated logistic corridor for ammonia, which is not there right now. We can use the natural gas pipeline, but that is like, it will require some refurbishment, it will require a lot of changes, which is yet to be addressed right now in India. So most of, like the recently concluded SECI tender, so we are exploring to transport the ammonia either through tanks or pipeline or trains. So those things are good, but it will not bring the cost to the level that we are expecting to compete with the gray ammonia. So yeah, that's my view that it will require a collective effort. Government can mandate, the technology provider can scale up their technology, the financiers can, or government can arrange the low-cost financing for the project, and the developer is the major anchor who can act as a coalition for all these stakeholders. So yeah, that's all from my side.
Thank you, Mr. Soni. As ma'am had also mentioned, the same words come from you that the cost viability between gray and green ammonia is something that we need to address. We have an eminent scientist with us, Dr. Manoj Srivastava, Principal Scientist, Environment Science, Indian Council of Agricultural Research. So may we have your perspective, please, on this?
Thank you, madam. First of all, I would like to thank GFFC for giving us opportunity. I am considering here myself as a representative of farmers. They are the major stakeholder for utilizing ammonia or green ammonia in the field of agriculture. So any inputs which is going into the agriculture sector, it is responsible for not only for food security but also the food quality. So major problem currently, the major nitrogenous fertilizer is urea, and urea is having major problem with the use efficiency, means for how much urea we are applying and how much it is going to the production of crop. So normally the urea efficiency varies from 30% to 40%, means if you are applying 100 kg of urea, only 30 to 40% is taking by the plants or utilization by the plant. So as a hypothesis, which has experiment has been conducted related to the green ammonia, various part of country as well as various part of world. It is in nascent new technology. So what is it? It is found the efficiency is tremendously increasing. It is increasing around 60 to 75%. Even some crop it is going to increase around 82%. But major problem is that we have to, before going anything into the field of agriculture, because whatever we are putting into the agriculture, we are eating also. So should be not affecting the quality of food as well as the quality of environment. So that is we call the sustainability of agriculture. So sustainability of agriculture is depend upon the inputs quality. So in terms of fertilizers, 4R principle normally works: right time, right place, right dose, and right amount of material. So ammonia, no doubt, it is the right amount, right quality material is there, which can directly utilize as a direct injection into the soil, either in the gaseous form or the liquid form. But before going to means that is major problem is that normal urea be applied as a broadcast. Simply take into the hand and farmer have no problem. They simply apply it into the field. But in case of direct ammonia injection technology, it require technology. Means we require a appropriate technology so we can apply into the large scale into the field. So that is major problem, means initial problem when we are introducing direct injection ammonia into the field. Because in India is a various type of climates, various soil types. So every soil type having different demand of nitrogen, different demand. Every crop is having different demand of nitrogen. So we have to take care of all type of soil type which is persist in India, with different type of crops, how much they are required. Like some pulses, they require less quantity of nitrogen because they can fix nitrogen from the atmosphere. But in case of some crop like cash crop like sugar cane, cotton, they require higher amount of nitrogen because they cannot fix nitrogen from the atmosphere. So that all those things taken into the consideration when we applying into the, as madam talk about the production efficiency, we have to talk, I'm talking about the utilization efficiency in the field of agriculture. So we have to, before going into the big, into the application mode, we have to test, we have require appropriate R&D, especially field of agriculture. So anything, because what happens, the moment farmer in first test, they will not found good, they will definitely, they deserted themselves for the technology because they are available of urea. Urea, it should be like technology like urea, because if farmer require urea, they can go by plane to any place of India to buy the urea. So that's why the technology should be properly tested. R&D is required, proper R&D in different type of agroclimatic condition, different type of soil side. Efficiency with some experiment, it is find that it is higher efficiency than the urea, no doubt. But we have to test it all type of agroclimatic conditions, different type of crop and different soil types. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Is it really a fact that a liquid hydrogen is naturally also available under the earth like CO2 and other sources? Is it generated naturally and we can have a technology to inject it to surface? I had seen one article, that's why I'm raising this
I have
question.
not come across
Okay.
because different gasifier and other study we have come across that somewhere methane is coming out, but maybe hydrogen may also, because that in underground there is the anaerobic conditions are there, so there is formation of possibility of hydrogen is there. So there may be possibility we can hydrogen may be from the lower part of our strata
Yeah, strata.
may be available.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So actually, the question you asked, we are working on that. We call it white hydrogen and gold hydrogen.
Yeah.
Right. So white hydrogen comes from the mines. Like if there is a like a residual oil field, okay, there are some macros which can go into that and it can degrade the carbon and it can emit the hydrogen. Another is the gold. This is called gold hydrogen. Another is coming from some types of oculite rocks are there. So if you pour hot water on that, it can give the hydrogen. So we are working on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
We might have some light on this in a few years from now. Thank you, sir. We now move on to our next panelist, Mr. Abhishek Kumar Ambasta. He is Deputy General Manager, Green Hydrogen at Solar Energy Corporation of India. So maybe have your key thoughts on this subject, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I would like to take everyone a few years back, around 2022, when suddenly we have seen in a span of 3 months the ammonia price rising from sub $300 per ton to more than $1,500 per ton. And this did not happen just because the farmers suddenly thought of utilizing more urea or DAP or ammonia based fertilizer, or suddenly soil starting absorbing more ammonia. It actually happened because two distant geographies decided to have a conflict, and we were nowhere in between that. And we have very recently, we have again seen something similar to that. The idea why I am pointing to this is like the dependence on gray ammonia is too dangerous at this point of time. So there should not be any question about whether we should have green ammonia or whether we should not have. We should have green ammonia from all perspective, from the perspective of a cleaner alternative, but more so from the perspective of being self-dependent, from the perspective of food security, not to be taken for a toss for a kind of conflict where we have no role to play, neither to initiate that particular conflict, nor to mitigate, nor to resolve. So we have to have green ammonia in the fertilizer industry, and that cannot be proven better than the situation what we have seen recently. Then what we do at SECI to make this thing happen now? So we have been working around the same time, this 2022 conflict we are talking about. In the midst of that conflict, we were deeply involved with MNRE in devising the National Green Hydrogen Mission also. And if you see the timelines, in January 2023, we come up with the National Green Hydrogen Mission. So, and we are involved with, and within a span of say less than 2 years, we are able to achieve this record price of green ammonia. ACME might say that we have achieved the record price, but you would not have achieved that kind of price if we are not induced that kind of competition in the market. So we have a role to play there, we feel that. So anyway, so we were also involved in making the ecosystem work before that green ammonia tender. But lately we realized that it's a kind of chicken egg situation. Unless we have a demand, we are not going to have the other part of the ecosystem, including electrolyzer, for which we have already tendered for 3 gigawatt capacity. Now in 3 gigawatt capacity, we have also catered to the requirement of Make in India, because there will be a huge domestic content required for making that electrolyzer. The minimum content, domestic content allowed for those electrolyzer are close to 60 to 70%, depending on the technology. So we are also handling that part of the thread also, that we need to have the domestication of the support system, ecosystem. What we seen in the solar trajectory, that we have missed that particular angle in between, and that led to a very huge dependence on the Chinese module, which we later realized and also corrected. And SECI has also played a great part in that by bringing out the PLI tender for modules also. And similarly, we brought the PLI tender for electrolyzer, which we are also implementing right now. There are some hardships seen from the perspective of the electrolyzer people, but the major part of it is the lack of demand, and which we are also trying to address through our green ammonia tender and the coming up green methanol tender also. And we, as ma'am was pointing out, that we should have the kind of G2G agreement with some of the geographies, and we are at the cusp of like materializing such kind of agreement with two of the countries. I won't be able to name them right now, but that will also lead to a good demand creation for green hydrogen and green ammonia, and thereby for the green electrolyzer also. I also agree with my colleague from ACME that there are bottlenecks in terms of infrastructure availability for the transportation of ammonia, uh, as well as transportation of power. We say the second major bottleneck, apart from the demand, the consistent demand, the reliable demand, would be the availability of reliable uh, infrastructure for uh, supply of RE from areas like Gujarat or Rajasthan, which are RE rich states, to states like Odisha or Andhra Pradesh, those who have potential for export as well as domestic consumption too. So that will be one of the major problem which we are also trying to address in coordination with MNRE and MOP. And we are very much hopeful that by the time we see these projects are coming up in the ground, we'll be able to resolve those issues in a way that doesn't affect the timeline of these projects. So I'll be happy to hear more from other panelists, and I'll be happy to take up more questions from the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Green ammonia is definitely not an option now, it appears. And for updating us on the various initiatives and measures taken by your organization. And also, I hope that with your contracts in place, ma'am will have few bold lines to put up in her slide now. So we move to our last panelist, Dr. Amit Kulshresh, General Manager, NTPC Energy Technology Research Alliance. Sir, we request your thoughts on the subject, please.
So the emphasis on the essentiality of the green ammonia and green hydrogen has been highlighted by various speakers in the session. So that is clear that we have to go forward. And but what are the challenges? The main challenge is the cost. And the cost, what constitutes the cost? As it has been highlighted that the major cost factors are the capital cost of the electrolyzers, and then the power cost, which is the renewable power cost, and the third part is the consistency of the renewable power, because the renewable power, if it is available for some time of the day, say 6 hours a day, then the electrolyzer, if it operates only for 6 hours a day, the capacity utilization factor of the electrolyzer is less, and the cost it reflects into the cost of the green hydrogen produced. So, what are the other alternatives? Basically the cost of power is one of the major part. For each kg of hydrogen, you need around 55 to 60 kilowatts of energy, because you are trying to split a very stable molecule, water molecule. So what are the other options? So we at Netra are trying to solve these issues, and what we have found that if we use municipal solid waste or RDF, and then gasify this, and then try to extract the hydrogen from the syngases. So that can be a much viable option. For example, for each kg of hydrogen produced from such route, so either biomass gasification or the RDF gasification, it will require around 17 to 18 kilowatt hours of energy only, instead of 55 kilowatt hours from the electrolyzer route. And similarly, for water, you require around 18 to 20 liters of water for each kg of hydrogen through electrolyzer route. But here in this case, if we use RDF to hydrogen route, only around 1 kg of water will be required for producing 1 kg of hydrogen. So, but the only thing is that the capex is high. But still at the current capexes, the cost of production is lower than the green hydrogen from renewable energy route. So the capex which a pilot plant we are installing at NTPC Netra, the cost of hydrogen which we are envisaging is around 300 to 350 rupees per kg. So that is, I think, cheaper than, at a small scale also, it is cheaper than the green hydrogen cost through electrolyzer route. So I think we can explore this pathway also, and the cost can be further reduced if the scales are increased, and even we can reach the 150 to 200 rupees per kg hydrogen cost, benchmark cost through this route, and which can result in the cheaper ammonia prices. My suggestion is that simultaneously we should also install some of the municipal solid waste to RDF to green hydrogen to ammonia plants. And based on the success of some of the pilots, we can increase the number of plants, such plants, and the economy of scale we can immediately achieve the targeted site costs.
Actually, SECI is also doing a standalone green hydrogen project, buyer agnostic projects, under which around 8.62 million lakh metric ton of capacities have been awarded, and under which there is a segment of biogenic hydrogen also. But unfortunately, like municipal solid waste hydrogen doesn't qualify under the green hydrogen definition. So probably there would be some requirement of more clarification or intervention from the scientific community to educate and enlighten us in a way that if it qualifies as a green hydrogen as per the definition, at least from the emission point of view, then what should be the case to be made in front of ministries that it should come up as an alternative for green hydrogen in a biogenic route also.
So you have rightly pointed out that the fossil part, the municipal solid waste to hydrogen may contain two parts. One is the fossil part, which is derived from the hydrogen from the plastics, and the other is the renewable part, which is derived from the municipal solid waste, which is biogenic in nature. So the green part and this part both can exist, but this is from the point of view of the emission reductions. But this also has an advantage that you are also clearing the waste, so that it is part of the circular economy, and it is also generating the hydrogen at a cheaper rate. On the other hand, if you use entirely the biomass, that also gives you the same type of cost economics, and not same, slightly higher cost economics, because in municipal solid waste case, you can also get the tipping fee also. So that can also further reduce the cost of the hydrogen.
One
but
addition.
It is, yeah.
One addition, you are right. See, we are, I'm Praveen Kulkarni from KK Nesar Projects Private Limited. We are Vadodara-based bootstraps startup. I have not taken single rupee from the government till date. We are the first to sign MOU at Vibrant Gujarat 2024 to illustrate how to empower the farmers and then make green hydrogen, green e-methanol, and then this ammonia is the secondary thing. Because in India, decentralized this green hydrogen generation is possible through biomass gasifier, wherein the oxygen is fed and then steam injection is made. So it is quite possible to achieve the green hydrogen cost of around 180 rupees per kilo instead of 400 rupees per kilo. For the Congo, I have a solution. Ms. Niriti, you will have to have some 5-6 beautiful slides of our company. I can supply, I can give it to you later on. Even our company, when we participated with the BIRAC, we went up to 4th stage, and we are yet to know our research benefits. We do not want the government subsidy. Instead, there is a model wherein instead of spending 55 kilowatt hour for 1 kg green hydrogen, only 5 kilowatt hour per kg of green hydrogen is possible by buying the locally available biomass, wherein this battery storage and electrolyze, the foreign exchange is going to China. Instead, we give money into the hands of the poor farmers, and then this green hydrogen mission can be made with a very good circular economy. And this is the MOU what we have signed. We are still waiting for the government. One IAS officer is holding the paper since 2 years. Yes, okay, we will definitely take the help of Invest India to mobilize it. And for 100 gram panchayats, we are going to illustrate in Gujarat and also in 10 other states. So this use of biomass, locally available biomass, with oxygen feeding and steam injection, the technology is getting mature. And one company in the France, it is doing it, and we are discussing probably our startup from Vadodara would illustrate for the first time in India, hopefully, if this one IAS officer in Gujarat government can support us. Thank you.
Thank you. Further to add to what you have said, we are also installing some of the torrefaction plants where we are torrefying the biomass to make coal, which will be used as a biogenic fuel for the power plants. And the byproduct of that process is the tar gases. They also contain a lot of hydrogen. So the hydrogen can be separated from that gas also. And that is also one of the low-cost
We have
hydrogen.
gone one step ahead. This tail gas has got wonderful mechanism wherein we can even give the cold storage facilities in every gram panchayat in India. And this is basically a circular economy based. We named it as Sashakt Gram Bharat. Unless and until we have Sashakt Gram, Sashakt Bharat cannot be there. So we will soon illustrate this. Thank you.
Very inspiring to know that we have so many local players in this front. So let us now start with our focused discussion. My first question is to Mr. Bhargav. Sir, do you think India can achieve this cost competitiveness with conventional hydrogen over the next decade? And if so, what will drive that transition?
If you see, the demand for hydrogen is not only the demand for hydrogen, it is a demand of green hydrogen being used in e-fuels, whether it is ammonia or methanol primarily, which are the carriers of this green hydrogen. So that is why we have very little or less offtake agreements, which is not driving the demand beyond, say, 200 megawatt of electrolyzer or 300 megawatt per year. So unless it becomes 1 gigawatt, we will not be able to have a scale. So that is one of the basic issues, is the demand. The second issue is that if you have more projects like NTPC Pudimatka, if you have more projects, Saki, you know how the Pudimatka is structured. How the Pudimatka NTPC is structured is very simple. It says that you bring your box for green hydrogen and a box for ammonia and a box for methanol. I will support the entire infrastructure, the port infrastructure, the site infrastructure, the renewable energy, the biogenic source of carbon. Everything is arranged by NTPC. It's a model contract. And I mean, Seki knows it, and NTPC has mastered the contract in AP. We should have more models in which you can test electrolyzers, you can test different technologies of nitrogen, because he's not worried about building the entire infrastructure. He's just specializing in creating hydrogen, green hydrogen, is creating ammonia and creating the other e-fuels, whether it's a methanol. He can carry methanol. There are offtake agreements for methanol, not for hydrogen. So hydrogen is only successful as far as the demand for e-fuels goes, or we go for the next stage, which is basically instead of alkaline electrolyzers, we go to PEM electrolyzers, and we play with the renewable energies in optimizing the whole cycle in order to have more throughput through the electrolyzer. So, and then we go a step further, maybe a few years down the line, then the SOC electrolyzer will come in for fuel cells. But it's a long way to go. The first step itself is the demand, and the demand has to come also for hard-to-abate sectors like steel, because the only source of green steel carbon is basically burning the biogenic source of fuel in the boilers. but you can use hydrogen. You can separate it out, and that oxygen also is considered in the whole thing. And you will be also surprised to know that all our offtake agreement are based on certification of RNFBO. That means each state by Europe is considered their own nation grid. So we as Invest India are working with the government, Power Ministry, so that we can declare India as one grid, which is truly the one grid, because of the bidding and other criteria. SECI knows it, NTPC knows it, and all our exchanges knows it. Once India certifies that is a one grid from the ministry perspective and take it up to the Europe, the RNFBO compliance is over, and ACME must be very happy about it that it is going to happen. So this is all driving the demand in various applications, and I agree with him to say that we have a lot of entrepreneurs. So SECI and TPC are the main drivers currently driving it. They should create infrastructure and let's fund these experimental projects to commercial scale.
Thank you, sir. My next question is to Mr. Soni. Dr. Manoj drove our focus back to fertilizer sector. So how do you see the fertilizer sector evolving from pilot scale ammonia injection to large scale adoption?
Hello? Yeah. So ammonia injection should have been done on yesterday basis, I believe, because the recent West Asia crisis has already exposed the fertilizer sector. Like most of the urea plant had been running in a lower capacity. They have been recovering right now. So it is very important for us to shift the fertilizer sector away from the import dependency. Also, the sustainability factor is another region where we should look at how fast we can do the ammonia injection directly into the soil. So in this regard, ACME has already started to work. We have collaborated with ICAR. We are doing the testing across 6 regions in India, across 6 crops, across different climatic conditions. So we have already acquired the technology from USA. We have indigenized the applicator. And so we have presented it to the even cabinet meeting happened. And we presented our case at there also. So now the regulatory approval and the technical recommendation is just the required for us to move ahead. And commercial wise, we feel it has the potential to save a good amount of subsidy for the government. So yeah, just the technical green flag is required now. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. That was very insightful. I would move to Mr. Ambasta now. How would you assess India's current readiness to scale up green hydrogen and green ammonia under the National Green Hydrogen Mission?
Actually, ma'am, it points down to again the same issue of chicken and egg. The scaling up of the production capacity for green hydrogen, ammonia, methanol, or electrolyzer and other associated ecosystem depends upon the kind of demand we are going to have. And with the demand, we mean to say the domestic demand as well as the offshore demands in the case. And we, to address that that issue, partially we are coming up with a lot many offtake tenders. We have requested MNRE and DOF for the tranche 2 of our green ammonia tender. Then again, this green methanol tender is, the draft document is live. And we had a stakeholder consultation on 15th of May for which 100 organizations have participated in the stakeholder consultation. It was kind of a pre-bid meeting. And even in the history of SECI, it has never happened that 100 companies have participated in the pre-bid meeting. And we are now struggling with the queries. What we have received, it ranges from close to 1500 queries we have received. But we are hopeful that we'll be able to address all the meaningful queries, relevant queries, and we'll finalize the green methanol tenders. At the same time, for the offshore front, we are also working with 2 of the geographies, and we are very hopeful that we will get some kind of demands from there. Equivalent, if not more in numbers, that what we have already achieved in terms of green ammonia and green methanol, which we are going to achieve. So that will actually cater the, that will act as a catalyst for the growth of green hydrogen, ammonia and complete ecosystem. We also understand the industry in itself working together with the associated industry partner from the consumption side, from the production side, to have a kind of bilateral agreement, and we are very much okay and we are happy with that. It need not necessarily happen with the intervention of government only, that every bilateral, every offtake contract has to happen through SECI or any of the intermediary. We understand our role, we are the market maker, we are the catalyst, but it has to happen at a bilateral level also, at a B2B level also. So once we achieve that kind of demand, that a tipping point where the ball start rolling itself, then we can say this is the point, this is the kind of stage we have achieved when the green ammonia, green hydrogen ecosystem becomes self-sustainable. So that is what we are trying to achieve here. We are also hoping to have a kind of small buyer or small off-taker based tenders also, what we call bring your own buyer kind of tenders we are going to have, to cater to the requirement of small users, not like multi metric ton, thousands metric ton kind of requirement. So that tender also we are hoping to come up with really soon. And these tender in combination with the bilateral efforts, I believe that will help us in growing to a stage where we can say that now the green hydrogen ecosystem has become well established and self-sustainable.
Quite innovative, I must say. If you can please pass on the mic to Dr. Mishra Kulshresht. Sir, again I come back to the basic question that we are all gathered here for. What according to you are the best pathways for making green hydrogen and ammonia? And I'll also take a cue from what Mr. Bhargav mentioned during his course was, which electrolyzer technologies, alkaline, PM or solid oxide, are best suited for India's renewable energy profile and why?
Uh, Regarding these electrolyzer technologies, basically all these will split the water molecules. So the energy consumption in all these technologies will be very high, depending on slightly the efficiency difference of all the three electrolyzers. So alkaline is the most mature technology right now, and PEM has certain other advantages like it can be operated flexibly. So the ramping up, ramping down is easier it is suited for that. Then you have this SOFC technology where the part of the splitting energy comes from heat. So in that case, the electrical power demand is reduced to a certain extent. So that may result into a cheaper OPEX if you have waste heat available. So all these three have different strengths and weaknesses. But as I have already discussed, I think biogenic route is the most viable route right now, because the targets which we are envisaging less than 180 rupees per kg of hydrogen can be achieved even at this point of time if we increase the scale of operations.
Thank you, sir.
I can complement.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Sir, if you see our this tender portfolio for green hydrogen, there was a bucket I specifically mentioned earmarked for biogenic green hydrogen for 40,000 metric ton per annum, and the capacity what we got is only 2,000 metric ton per annum. So what is the gap? Because what we understood that aggregation of that kind of biomass at a commercial level to meet that kind of requirement is difficult. So that is the main bottleneck here. As far as biogenic green hydrogen is concerned, is qualifies as a green hydrogen. So there is no technical difficulty in having that kind of green hydrogen. But what I understand that the demand aggregation, for the supply aggregation for the biomass is the key piece of puzzle which we are not able to resolve right now.
This is basically not the main issue in green hydrogen through biogenic route. Basically, we have enough biomass available in the country, and the agri residue biomass itself is around 230 million tons, which is not used. And if you consider all the biomass available in the country, you get around 1,000 million tons of biomass in the country annually, which also includes this forest residue biomass, agri-residue biomass, all these. If you sum up together, it comes to around 1,000 million tons of biomass, which is not used for any other purpose. So we have enough biomass. Then what is the bottleneck? The bottleneck is basically the gasification technology, the gas cleaning technology, and then after that the separation of the hydrogen from the mixed gases. And this is the basic hurdle, and that is why we are installing a pilot plant in NTPC Netra based on plasma gasification technology, which will solve a major problem of tar handling into the system, because at that temperatures 2000 degrees centigrade or 1500 degrees centigrade, the tar formation is not there. The other plant at a commercial scale also we are going to launch very soon, which will be 200 ton per day plant, and which will be oxygasification. It will not use plasma because plasma is somewhat costlier. This oxygasification will be a cheaper alternative, and because of the oxy combustion, the temperatures are high, and then they also address the issue of tar formation in the process. So the issue is not the availability of the biomass, it is the hurdles are technological itself. The pilot plants, if we come up based on these technologies, they will demonstrate the maturity of the technologies, and then you will see that this pathway will increase its share.
Issue is not about biomass availability. Why we said just now, the Sashakta Gram Bharat, when we say, in one Gram Panchayat, 1 megawatt biomass gasifier, which is 4.5 million MW thermal, there you need hardly 12,000 tons of biomass to produce 5 ton per day green e-methanol. Okay, this is very, very viable and very cheap. And you would be wondering, with the WGS water gas shift, from the oxygasification, the green hydrogen cost would be around 160, 180 rupees only. Yes, the technology what we are talking about, Indian gasifier manufacturers, they have not proven this oxygasification or steam injection in the commercial level. Yes, we have to depend on one of the European supplier, that's correct, but understand one thing, as SECI policymaker, the raw material biomass, the cost of the biomass, it increases every year. Even if it goes up to 8 rupees, there is a viability of methanol, because methanol can be transported, not the green hydrogen. 5 ton per day is easily transportable, and with this low-cost mechanism, the raw material cost, what we are paying to the poor farmers, that has got a great social impact, and it has got a great social impact. While encouraging the circular economy in the Gram Panchayat, we are going to create 100 jobs per Gram Panchayat. These are green collar jobs. So this is the project which we have signed an MOU way back in 2024. We knew that gasification technology is taking up some more, even 3 more years also, but our project has 4 phases. 3 phases by this time we could have done. We will do it. Green biomass availability for 12,000 tons or even 8,000 tons per year, it's peanuts. It's possible only from 250 acres. In every Gram Panchayat, you have got 4,000 acres. So biomass availability is never a problem in India. Thank you.
Just wanted to add, thank you. Just wanted to add, see, we are talking about green hydrogen as a separate way of creating it, not mixing it up with carbon capture. So whatever we were talking about, calcification, calcium looping, oxy, and these are different carbon capture technology. Another route is, instead of doing a carbon capture by combustion or pyrolysis or incineration, you also do biomethanation, correct? By biomethanation, to my experience, we are making it into a gas, and then CBG and other applications, syngas and other applications is there. Yes, there is an offshoot of hydrogen, but that is not commercially taken off till today. So when we talk about commercialization, Nivritti ji has already told, if we have a technology available, please use it. Because it is available right now in commercial, by the time you make your own technology commercial, it will take 5 years. We miss the bus. So we have to take out carbon capture technology separate. Electrolyzer is a way of making hydrogen currently. The India is focusing on it, the country is focusing, and many other tenders are there. It is very good to see SECI creating a bilateral agreement with the government, which will definitely drive it. So please, with my experience of technology, these are 3 different things. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. My next question is to Dr. Manoj Srivastava. Sir, India is facing many problems with respect to nutrient use efficiency in nitrogen fertilizer sector. So how does green or liquid ammonia help in improving this NU efficiency?
I have earlier also pointed out that conventional nitrogenous fertilizer like DAP or urea having 30 to 40% use efficiency, where in case the study which we have conducted, it is showing that deep injection of ammonia or even liquid ammonia as a drip fertigation having the higher efficiency, means it goes up to 60 to 75%. So this is definitely, there is no doubt that application of ammonia, direct application ammonia in the field of agriculture is going to increase efficiency, nitrogen use efficiency. The major problem is that how to apply efficiently, means it should be, application method should be the farmer friendly, because in case of urea and other fertilizer, they can simply broadcast, simply use with the fertidils, there are systems are there. So for making successful application using the, it is required means efficient machinery which can be utilized this liquid ammonia as well as the gaseous ammonia in the field of agriculture. Because our fields, farmer fields are not more than 1 to 2 acres. In general, average holding is that. So it can be successful in the contract farming system or cooperative farming system where the larger farms are there. But in case of individual small farmer, we should come out with the technology where we can successful application systems are there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now move to Mr. Bhargav again. Sir, can you help us throw light on what are the lenders or investors looking for before financing green ammonia projects?
There are 2 types of contract. If you see, if you are applying for a domestic tender based on SECI or NTPC, there are different requirements because the whole contract is structured, and you have to, they have taken care of the bankability concerns already in the contract. So if you have an off-taker which is creditworthy and the contracts are bankable, it's very easy to finance those projects. That's my view. But when you go outside and have those viability gap funded contract by H2 Triple P program or CFD or JCM credit mechanism, these have to be real bankable contract. That means your EPC contract have to be structured offshore, onshore, very credibility, the sources of fund, and then they go down deep in the technology assessment because each technology has a different risk value. That means the more proven technology and more commercial scale projects, you pay very less premium on insurance and it increases as you go there. Then depending on the operating regime, you have to make a financial model and you have to explain the financial model in terms of the turn down level based on your RE. You have to match the RE. Otherwise, you have to have extra storage capacity by battery or by other means from the, from banking, the power, So depending on all these factors, it keeps adding and you add up into the commercial model. And that is how these offtake agreement, whether you talk to Greenco or Semcop or even EPME, they will like to explain that these offshore contracts, you have to be very particular of the certainty in prices, and also you have to extrapolate the performances for a long duration of time. These are like 15 to 20-year contracts, correct? So that coverage period is not 7 years. It's going to be extended to have the lower value. So longer debt period means the technology has to be very certain. There has to be curves, or there is a replacement strategy. What component you have to replace? Is it a component or a cell or the whole stack? So this is the complete thing is financial model. So you have to explain to investors, to insurance companies on the technology readiness and the details. And that is how you take. But I'm very sure to all the investors, SMEs, I think NTPC and SECI contracts are bankable. They have taken good care of it within the country. Thank you. Yes, please. You're talking about $1 for hydrogen?
Green hydrogen, yes. Reliance has been given 550,000 acres here in Gujarat.
Okay.
For the project, wherein that project is supposed to yield, prove a point that a green hydrogen cost at the end of the day, it should be $1 per kg of the green hydrogen. What is that financial engineering involved in that?
I think this question, ECME is more answer because
Anybody.
they may have the exact details, but I'll tell you, if you have a gigawatt scale electrolyzer and you have a 10 gigawatt electricity, I mean, just the scale of the things, but what factor percentage is, I leave it to my colleague on the stage, ECME, to answer you.
Sir, I can only talk about my company. So what they are doing, I don't know. If you want to understand how we are going to achieve 54.3 rupees per kg green ammonia, that I can explain.
My next question is to you only. Mr. Soni.
May I?
The audience.
Ma'am, please continue.
We have some
My
inputs.
question is to Abhishek sir. Sir, when do you feel that, see, I had seen one graph. Basically, I'm in procurement, that's why I'm asking this question. You mentioned the current prices of ammonia like 1,000, 1,100, 1,200, 1,500. This is all due to the current geopolitical situations, right? Middle East is disturbed, that's why. Normally, this gray ammonia, it stays near 300 to 500 maximum. So what do you feel, or as per your statistics, green ammonia and gray ammonia will cross at what point, or what point, I mean, how many years down the line when green will be more cheaper than gray ammonia?
I would like to answer this question in two particular ways. There cannot be one straightforward answer for that, what would be the timeline, but there are two ways of looking at the same question. If you spread the timeline of the contract, like we are having 10 years of contract for the green ammonia, firm contract for the green ammonia, where the green ammonia price remains unchanged for the whole tenure. And in between, the prices of gray ammonia will keep on fluctuating. And right now, if you compare it with the appreciated dollar price vis-a-vis the gray ammonia price, so just the green ammonia price is somewhere close. The weighted average price is close to $550 per ton. And if you consider this kind of abruption, what you call West Asia conflict or the Ukraine-Russia conflict, if you see this kind of abruption comes once in a 5 year, it will wipe out the complete gray and green premium. So if you see in terms of a long-term contract, not on a day-to-day price comparison basis, it is still at par with gray ammonia. Okay, if you see the graph of gray ammonia from 21 to 26, January, not including this particular conflict period also, January 26, the differential which the government would have saved by not allowing not purchasing green ammonia there is actually no incentive for government. If the complete green, the gray ammonia is substituted with the green ammonia price, what SECI has discovered, there would be lower outgo of incentive from government. So if you see from that perspective, it is already at par. Now to say, if you want to see the price to price, day to day price, the spot price matching kind of thing to happen, we are very much sure that once we are coming up with the third or fourth tranche of green ammonia, by that time we will be somewhere close to that benchmark only, that $400 per ton kind of benchmark only, we will be reaching that kind of this thing, the prices. The whole game is about the economy of scale, the kind of demand what we receive from the industry domestically or offshore will drive the price parity on day-to-day basis. On a long-term basis, we are already at par.
My question is to Mr. Abhishek as well as Rishabh. My question is to Mr. Abhishek and as well as Rishabh. Abhishek, you said that there is limited demand of green products like green ammonia. You said there is a limited demand of green products like green ammonia, green methanol. For the reason could be the higher price, because presently whatever we are producing at the lower scale, so the prices are not affordable by the users. But actually, there is a demand of ammonia and methanol, and we get it from the gray sources. So prices can be affordable if we build the plants of higher high scale. If we want to, we have to talk about 1 million, 0.5 million, 1.5 million, such type of capacity. For my question is now again to Rishabh. This means if I think of the mega plant, the challenge is to arrange this RE at the right tariff and 24/7. So how to manage it? What are your suggestions for this?
So sorry, but your voice was like I couldn't clearly hear the question. Sorry.
If we want to build a plant of higher capacity, then we will need a big chunk of renewable energy. How to arrange this renewable energy at the affordable price as well as 24/7, so that we could run the plant on continuous basis?
So sir, right now the technology we are using is a combination of solar, BESS and wind. Right now for providing the RE/RTC power. But if you will look at the energy sector is also evolving a lot. Right now, a lot of new solutions are coming, like SMR is coming up. Government has announced the tender for that also. That could be a one source. Other is we can look at the solution like PSP for a better storage of the power. So those kind of engineering evolution is required in the industry right now. Right now, the industry is just forming. So people's focus is only on the cost part right now. But going forward, they will focus on the innovation, because right now it is just focused on the cost. So I think the industry needs some time to evolve better and come up with some innovative solutions.
What Nivriti Roy said 2.5 rupees per unit could be the best, good price for this green ammonia. So to get that price, shall we wait or because innovation may take its own time. So how to arrange this? Today, if we are thinking of the green ammonia plants, so that may be get constructed in 3-4 years. So how to make sure that we will get the power at this price?
So sir, the 2.5 rupees that ma'am was mentioning, we achieved it in 2017. That was 2.44 rupees. And at that time, module price was much higher. So right now the captive power rate, this rate that you are mentioning, it is the grid power, not the captive power. So captive power is much lesser. So we are well beyond the limit in the renewable power right now. Yeah.
So in case of captive power, still the prices are more than 3 rupees.
Pardon, sir?
In case of captive power plants, renewable power plant, still the prices are more than 3 rupees.
Sir, a captive I am saying not the, if you will reduce the transmission cost, which is around 1 to 1.5 rupees per unit. So it becomes very competitive.
So this could be the major challenge to because otherwise we know from hydrogen how to make ammonia, how to store it, how to transport it, how to consume it. But to arrange this renewable power, electrolyzer technology, I think with time it is getting updated. So presently the good technologies are available, but this part, this will be the real challenge for us.
So a lot of engineering are happening right now. Like even in our company, we are exploring new products. Like perovskite module we are testing right now because their efficiency is around 10% more than the conventional modules. So all this technology are being tested. The best part also lithium ion, like we are testing sodium ion battery right now because its cost is much lower. So those kind of innovation are going to help the industry.
But that will add to the cost.
Pardon, sir?
That will add to the cost.
That will help the cost drastically.
Drastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello. Hey. So basically, we have discussed a lot about the prices of green ammonia and all those things. I just wanted to understand, do we have any price index through which we can map the price of green ammonia? Because when we are supplying to an international market, there has to be some common price index or something or some kind of a threshold to show that this will be the price and this is what our target should be when we are manufacturing green ammonia or when we are transporting green ammonia to other countries.
There is the index available for ammonia.
Sorry?
Not the green ammonia because the volume is not that much. But for gray ammonia, there is an index.
Gray ammonia is relatively cheaper in comparison to green ammonia, but anything on that, because I think it makes investors reticent towards this fact that there is no price index, so there is no certainty of cash flows that they are going to get, and that raises a query on the bankability of the projects. In that sense, I was trying to understand. So how do we determine it in the general nuance of the market? Like how do we determine what pricing should be there or how to do it to make it beneficial for every one of us?
Yeah, so that's what Abhishek was also mentioning. It's a chicken and hen problem right now. The financer, like you project need the financing. The financing, for financing you need to go to the lender and lender require the off taker. Off taker requires price certainty. For price certainty, you require the financing. So it's a chicken and hen problem. So once you get the off taker, you get the lender. So both of these, the developer role is that. I think Abhishek can answer that better.
See, there are two parts of this problem also. Like, my gray ammonia is not European gray ammonia. European gray ammonia is RFNBO compliant gray ammonia, green ammonia, sorry. So my green ammonia is not European green ammonia, so there cannot be a universal index for green ammonia. Japanese green ammonia is also something different. Their emission intensity requirement and their kind of uh, uh, geographical correlation or temporal correlation are totally different. So it cannot be a universal index kind of thing. But of course, for the pegging the price, that what should be the acceptable price, that is determined by the offtake side of tender, which entities like S2 Global or Hindco would be doing at their side for Europe, and entities like Methi or Jogmac would be doing for Japan. So once that discovery of price happens, that at what price they are going to buy the green ammonia, plus the differential of the carbon intensity incentives, that will determine the or index the green ammonia price to that particular geography. So that with the scale, with the kind of with the growth in scale, we are definitely going to achieve graduate to that level. But at this point of time, it will be quite premature to agree for a definite kind of green ammonia price for any geography. Leave aside universal.
Just to follow up on that, so basically, from a perspective of RFA, NBO, and the Japanese standards for the supply of green ammonia, apparently they are too much high for like majority of the Indian capacity right now, so that we are not passing through the threshold that which they have provided, because CI is not close to like 99% or something. So how are we trying to deal with that? Like how can we bypass that, or are we trying to like totally remove RFNBO obligations, or like how are we trying to act on the credits that we are going to get? So anything on that?
No, see, as far as carbon intensity is concerned, we are not worried about. Our green hydrogen, as far as carbon intensity is concerned, will qualify for Europe all as well as and will comfortably qualify for Japan. The concern for the artificial green values, what RFNBO brings to the table, like geographical correlation, that single bidding zone, that doesn't have any kind of green value. What sir has suggested earlier, that once we come up with a solution that we declare that India is complete one bidding zone. If we see that kind of amendment in the regulation coming up, seeing the day of light, that one part of problem will be resolved. Then there will be temporal correlation. That you utilizing the RE for charging the battery storage or pump storage has to be coming up to that delivery point within 30 days till 2030, and after 2030 it should be within 1 hour. So those are artificial green, so-called green values, which doesn't have any kind of green values. There are some intra-Europe geography which want that kind of things, that kind of barriers to be there, so that they also find a kind of business there. So these are the problems which we are trying to resolve. At SECI, we are working on a white paper for a rationalization of RFNBO, which takes care of these two things, including the additionality perspective also. The additionality is one more thing, that there has to be a new RE for every new electrolyzer to be powered for. Why there is a requirement of new RE? The older RE, the RE doesn't become gray or brown or black. So these are the requirements which are artificial green, a kind of perception which creates a kind of this has a green value, but actually in actual day it doesn't have any kind of green value. So we are also trying to debunk that kind of myths and aura around a kind of so-called stricter regulation. So that will take some time. We are working on it. Government is working on it. MNRE is working on it. MOP is working on it. Most likely MOFCC would also be working on it, but it will take some time.
I think, yeah, that helps a lot. Thank you.
Question. So few set of questions. First question is to fertilizer industry. Like it is subsidized very well, and almost around 18,000 crore to 2 lakh crore is already subsidized on the urea. So how the fertilizer industry is going to take a green hydrogen? Because to getting the green ammonia, if adding the green ammonia in your industry or fertilizer industry, there will be a cost to be addition, and how it will be going to pass on to farmers. That is the first question. Second question is for the RERTC. Right now the RERTC price is coming around 4.8 to 4.9 rupees. So how we are able to achieve 47 rupees per kg for green ammonia? And third is like right now the buzz for the ammonia plus the data centers. We are consuming the water. So what are the solution for that? Are we able to get desalination units established at every stage or not? So these are the set of questions.
I'll answer the last two of it. The first one I think is aimed towards fertilizer experts. So for the RERTC part, I would say, yeah. So the RERTC part, this is a kind of myth that for green ammonia production we require RERTC. Only the ammonia loop has to run on 24/7 basis. The electrolyzer can run on a kind of solar plus little bit of battery with little bit of wind, or even without wind. So in that way you will be underutilizing the electrolyzer. But if you consider the price of electrolyzer in the whole infrastructure is not that much, it will be hardly 12 to 10% depending on from where you source the electrolyzer. The major part of it is RE. So as long as you are able to utilize the complete RE what you are producing, not spilling it over to some exchange mechanism or something of a cheaper mechanism where you don't realize the price what you should be realizing for the RE, it should not make any difference. It should not bother you that you have to have a kind of effective CUF for the electrolyzer by having RERTC kind of power setup. You can very well operate a good economic green ammonia plant with solar with little bit of battery that will give you a good price also, without compromising on the operation of green ammonia plant, which has to run on a 24/7 basis.
Thank you.
Regarding data center question. The data center, I mean, I'm from Invest India. We facilitate all the latest data center investments in India, including Google. So the way foreign investors looks at data center are three basic things. As you rightly said, water, electricity, and fiber optic connectivity, correct? So you know there are 17 cables coming up to India, undersea cables. So that, the whole data center, whole roof is across the coastal regions. And now if you go to Gujarat, definitely you already said that desalination is the only way to go, correct? So electricity is not an issue. And we have checked with the electricity distribution company here. They can supply because data centers, minimum what we have seen is 400 megawatt equivalent. You know, just imagine the data center is also classified in megawatt. Electrolyzer is also classified in megawatt. So everything is megawatt related to electricity. So 400 megawatt, just a one scalable data center, correct? So 400 megawatt continuous electricity, and if you put 3 rows, it goes to 1.2 gigawatt. It's available. So there are choices in India, 4 choices currently available. Gujarat is running in top, and I congratulate Gujarat for that. You have arranged electricity, you have water to this. But there are newer technology by, say, Honeywell, UOP, or other licensed producer, which is giving you a coolant solution. The coolant solution will have the lowest water consumption, correct? You could even see some photographs in Europe where in the river or canal, they are putting data centers because the water requirement is quite high. But for Gujarat and Maharashtra, it desalination plants. But if you go to eastern region from Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Odisha, which is the top destinations, these are the rivers. If you go to Greater Noida, it is also one of the great hubs of data centers. Though MP and Rajasthan also wants to have a data center, but Greater Noida is one where we have. Gujarat is still running number 1.
Thank you, Anup sir, for addressing the question. We are now concluding the question answer session, and we request Nidhi ma'am to please conclude on the seminar.
Thanks. Thank you, Malar. Thanks. First of all, a round of applause for our audience for such a great and engaging session. Thank you all. I'm sure our panelists would agree that this session became much more insightful and interactive because of you. And I thank each of our panelists for throwing so much light on the investment part, the financials, the offtake agreements, the various technologies, the R&D part, and more so in the fertilizer sector. So thank you very much. And over to you, Mitesh.
Thank you, Nidhi Madam, for those valuable concluding observations. On behalf of GSFC and EPD, we sincerely thank our esteemed panelists and all participants for your active engagement. We have displayed a prototype ammonia injection for fertilizer industry at GSFC stall number P1, hall number 1 in exhibition hall. Request everyone to kindly visit the same. Let's carry us forward this today's discussion into concrete action toward a stronger, more resilient and self-reliant fertilizer ecosystem. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening. Jai Hind.